the upper garden, and we got a few beds up here. This bed is kind of our herb bed that we've been doing. We've got some comfrey growing there. We have some asparagus that we planted from seed. This is a Rosa rugosa. We've got a tomato plant we put in here. We've got some goji berry plants that didn't do too well. So those should do better in later years. This is our echinacea. We planted this 3 years ago and it just keeps coming back by itself, and you can see it's actually seeding and trying to spread further. We got wild thyme here, and then we got just regular thyme here. This is regular chive, and then we have garlic chive here, which has been getting pretty chewed up, so we've had to put a small cage around it to keep rabbits away, because I think that's what's been getting it. In this box here we've got some pawpaws we grew from seed. Don't know if those will make it through the winter, but we'll see. This is some mint on the corner. It's not doing too well right now, but as long as it survives, it should come back next year. Here, this is a hugelkultur bed, so we dug a bunch of wood into here, and we were growing potatoes here this year, and most of them are dying back now. And then on the other side, we got another hugelkultur bed with more potatoes. These ones are, as you can see, a lot more vigorous. But they should be dying back soon. We've got red potatoes and purple Vikings in there this year. This is a fig we planted last year. It's finally starting to do something. It's a Chicago hardy fig. So in our climate, that should die back all the way to the ground, and then hopefully it'll come back again next year. We've got a sour cherry tree we put in over here. This is a Montmorency. I thought we might get cherries this year because it actually flowered, but it's just not old enough to do that yet, I guess. Then we got more comfrey down here. This is another one of our hugelkultur beds. We actually didn't turn this one or add much in the way of fertilizer to it, but we're growing right here. This is all watermelon, so I think that's the biggest one we've got so far. It's Blacktail Mountain watermelon, which is supposed to be better for northern climates like here. And then in between there, you can see we've got sweet potato growing. So we had an unusually hot summer for northern Michigan, so hopefully we'll get some sweet potato out of it. We got some grapes that we're growing along here. We got to work on getting a trellis up. But this is our best one we got so far. This is a Catawba. We'll want to prune that back.
I just saw a green tractor.
We've got a Somerset grape here.
Hey. Dad.
We'll come to the other one later. So we're using the main garden is fenced in, so we've been trying to use the fence as a trellis rather than having to put up trellis ourselves. So we've got a bunch of beans planted along here. These are rattlesnakes, and then the ones you see with red are barnside runner beans. There's one of the rattlesnakes. You get the nice purple streaks on them. And then we've got a tomato plant here. We'll go in the main garden now. Over on that half, we've just been dumping mulch and stuff. That's our compost pile for now, just so the deer and rabbits leave it alone. In this bed, we got more comfrey. We were trying to grow carrots here, but that didn't pan out. So we got marigolds growing in there, and they're just starting to get some flower buds on them. This is a volunteer green wave mustard green that planted itself this year. We've got a little patch of, these are daikons. We haven't been pulling them for the root, we've just been eating these pods off them. This is some red Russian kale that planted itself. We grew this a couple of years ago, but it came back on its own, and usually it gets attacked pretty bad by insects, but it's surviving this time. This little patch we got, this is just like a 99-cent packet of bean seeds that I got at the supermarket. They're called Kitchen King, I think is the variety. Over on this block we got, this is more asparagus. This is Murray Washington that we grew from seed. And this is only like 2 years old now. And it's doing better than some of the actual asparagus crowns we bought from Walmart. I actually planted some more of this asparagus from seed to fill this plot, and you can see they're coming up right now. See the little ferns popping up. So this whole area should be asparagus next year. In the back there we've got some horseradish. So these are all horseradish. There's a carrot. I had some carrot seeds in here, but most of them didn't take. This horseradish is finally splitting. It's sending off a sucker there. And if we take a look at this bed, at the end here, we grew some Jerusalem artichokes a couple of years ago, and then I took them out, but there was one guy that just kept coming back because I didn't dig it out all the way, and they'll just keep coming back if you don't get them. So I finally got it out, and I put it over in this plot by itself, and it's doing great. And then I got some new ones, which are actually a red variety. And that's what these ones are coming up over here, and then there's one here. More comfrey. This is another volunteer mustard green. We're saving this one for seed. It's almost ready. It's out to the point where it's going to start drying out. It's kind of yellowing. I'll go this way. We got a couple tomato plants. I think that's an Abe Lincoln. This is a Chadwick's cherry, I'm pretty sure. You can see we're getting our first tomato ripening. Well, actually, it looks like we had a ripe one that might have fallen off. You want to hold on to that? And then we've got, in this bed, we got more asparagus. These are crowns that we actually bought from Walmart and planted. They're doing okay, but they're not as vigorous as the stuff we planted from seed, I don't think. This is a volunteer arugula because we grew arugula a couple years ago, and it just keeps coming back in random places. You can always identify it by that flower it's got on it.
There's poison things on there.
At the end here we got some onions. So these were onions that we had planted from starts we got at Walmart. And then we've also got some, these guys you see here, these are Egyptian walking onions, so they actually get the bulbs on the top, which you can plant, and then they'll make another separate new plant. We're just waiting for those to kind of die back, and then we'll dig them into the ground, and they'll be set for next year.
There's white stripes on that other tomato.
Yep. So along the fence we got more beans. These are the rattlesnakes. You can tell by the purple flower. These just started flowering, and we added some strings so they'll get up to the fence. In this bed we're growing beans. This is a Jacob's Cattle, so it's primarily a bean we just let dry as it grows, and then we'll harvest it as a dry bean. died back by now. They're still kind of hanging on, but they're pretty much dead. We got some more beans in here. This is Indian red Hidatsa bean, I think. This is another volunteer mustard green. Got some volunteer kale in the middle of the aisle. This looks like a cyber frill, I think. There's another volunteer mustard green. Got some comfrey. The only kale in here I actually started myself was this one and these two. And this guy was a volunteer from last year. I think that's a cyber frill. More comfrey. Volunteer kale. We had a rabbit who was getting in here through a hole in this fence, so we had to put a block there to keep him out. If he keeps coming in, we'll have to snare him or something. Here we got more beans. This is a dragon tongue variety. We're just starting to produce a lot, so we don't have many, but that's what they look like. So they're kind of like the rattlesnake, but they're more of a yellowish color. We got a trellis, we just put a bunch of sticks together. This is more rattlesnakes climbing up, you can see they're all here. And we've got another bean on here, I think this is Good Mother Stallard that's growing. These are about ready to be picked. This one's probably a little overdue. This bed we were growing peas, so we were growing a yellow pea this year, and that's pretty much died back now. We also planted some spaghetti squash in there, which is kind of taken over it now. We had some volunteer beans that were living in here. I think these were rattlesnakes. Planted some dinosaur kale in here, but the only one that really survived is that lone one over there. We've got some more tomato plants, so we're growing, as I said, Abe Lincoln. We got Chadwick's cherry, then we've also got a variety called Pink Bumblebee in here. And they're just, some of them are just starting to ripen like in there. And then we've got beans planted in between them.
Them hiding.
So here's some more of the rattlesnakes. They're growing in between there. Once they get to the top of the cage, we'll just string the lines so they go to the fence so they have somewhere else to go. But tomatoes and beans seem to like each other's company. And then last thing we got in here. So this is the spaghetti squash. This is the one that's doing the best. We've got two nice fruits that are forming on there. And then we'll just go and check out the lower portion of the garden. More grape. This is a Concord that we put in a few years ago. It's finally taken off. I pruned back a lot of it had a bunch of shoots coming out this year, but I pruned it back to only like 2 so it can focus on getting taller. This is a Reliance grape. We got this one last year. Another Concord. This one we've gotten beaten up a lot, so it's not doing as well as the other This is our newest hugelkultur bed we did last year. We dug it in the fall. What we have grown in here is rose fin apple fingerling potatoes, which are kind of doing okay. They're not the healthiest, but either doing better in the back. They're a lot taller in the back. We've also got a couple purple Vikings in there. I think this is one of them. Got a couple fruit trees we're trying to grow up here. So these two are Manchurian apricots. And then we just got a couple hazelnuts. There's a hazelnut. There's one over here. And that concludes our broadcast for today. It looks like we got a storm rolling in, so
A storm? I never see a storm.